26 on this guy now. This is the first tune I've made. Shows you how little I've played that tune. There it is again, 17k.
Alright guys, let's get started. First things first, as always, we're going to look at our character sheet. We're going to be an Imperial on our Stamplar. Imperial is going to be best in slot because of the fact that it has that reduced cost for all of your abilities. I know that a lot of people won't have this because you need to pay extra for it because of, you know, class exhaust maneuvers. So if you don't have this, I feel like a Wood Elf would be fine as far as your race, but preferably you'd want to be an Imperial on this. So just for the reduction on all of your abilities, it's going to really help your sustain as much as possible. Your health is going to have 7 points into it, and your stamina is going to have 57 points into it. As you can see, it's going to give you a nice chunky health pool. You're going to be at 30k, and then your max stamina is going to be almost at 25k, which is still a lot. Trust me, your recovery is pretty nice on this build. And then you're going to see that your resistances are almost at 27k each. We're going to be using the Lady as our Mundus. I found this build to be very squishy without it. I really tried to use it without the Lady Mundus, but I really needed it to survive. I was way too squishy without it. So if you can find a way to use a spell damage like the Atronach instead, go ahead and use that. But I really do prefer the Lady on mine. We're going to be using Orzogga Smirked Bear Haunch as our food. This is going to increase your max health as much as possible, also increasing your stamina and magic recovery by 369 for 2 hours. This is going to help your sustain a lot. If you can't afford this, because on PC these prices are actually crazy right now. I think it's up to like almost 30k per food. You know, don't worry about it. Use the Jewels of Misrule food. I think that's what it's called. It's just a little bit of stat difference, and you're just basically keeping all of your sustain. So if you can't afford this, I definitely recommend using the other one, but you know, this is the best food that you could use. And then as always, we're at Vampire Stage 3. Vampire Stage 3 is going to really increase your tankiness because of this one passive right here. Where is it? The Undeath passive. The lower health you get, the more damage reduction you get. So, you know, it's kind of really helpful when you're really getting zerged down, and it's going to make you really tanky. And then, but honestly, since we're right here, let's just look at our abilities before we get to our gear. Our main spammable is going to be Biting Jabs. Since we're a Stamplar, this is the morph that we want to use. This is going to do a lot of damage to all your nearby enemies. I definitely love using this. I am actually shredding people with this build. I'm absolutely loving it. Race Against Time, this is going to be your snare removal, but it's also going to proc your Wretched Vitality, which is one of the sets that we're going to be using on this, by giving you both Major Expedition and Minor Force. This is going to really help your damage as much as possible too, because this is going to be a critical build. So using that extra 10% on that Minor Force is huge. And then also it's your snare removal as well, I guess. Resolving Vigor, this is a huge heal for 4 seconds. 23.3k is our tooltip right now, and it gets even more. It gets even higher if you have a continuous or if you're around a keep or anything. Honor the Dead, you can see that tooltip right there, 16.2k. That's huge. So definitely use this as your other heal. You can't just keep Resolving Vigor. You need both heals on this, and having that Orzogga's on here is going to really allow you to keep that sustain up as much as possible. And then Purifying Light. I think Purifying Light hits a lot harder than Power of the Light. It's just got a higher tooltip. It's got a higher everything. I know that the other morph has Major Breach and Minor Breach, so I understand using the other one, but I just prefer this one so much more. I've used both, and I found this one to hit harder on a more consistent basis. And then Dawnbreaker of Smiting. This is going to actually hit like a truck. You can see that it hits for 18k right there on the tooltip, and then the 20.1k dot. It is absolutely phenomenal. And then it's going to be your only CC on this build too. I know it's kind of tough using it like that, but it's definitely a lot of damage, I promise. And then our gear. As our helmet, we're going to be using a heavy Magma Incarnate and Reinforced with all prismatic enchants on all of our body pieces, as you can see. Magma, for that, we only have one piece on because it's going to increase our magic and stem recovery. Then our other sets are going to be mechanical acuity with a medium impen shoulder. What mechanical acuity does is it gives you max stam, max magic, weapon and spell damage, and then when you deal non-critical damage, you gain a stack of mechanical acuity for 4 seconds. So, and then it just keeps on applying 20% more, 20% more, 20% more, and up to 5 times, and then it will not reapply. It's got a 25-second cooldown, which is a long time, but if you can time this right, you can keep your critical up for so long, and it does so much damage for your burst. I definitely recommend this on a Templar. You are just absolutely shredding your opponents. I love it so much. I've been really, really, really loving it since I've been able to learn how to use it properly. It is a lot of fun. Our hands are going to be medium mechanical acuity in impen as well. Our chest piece is going to be a Wretched Vitality, heavy and reinforced. Wretched Vitality is going to give you match recovery, stamina recovery, weapon and spell damage, and then it's going to give you 400 magic and stamina recovery just for applying a major and minor debuff in combat. So just your race against time, since you get the major expedition and minor force, is going to proc this alone. So it's just an insane amount of recovery. I always have sustain issues on Stamplar, so that is why I'm running both Wretched and Orzogas. I know I use Wretched on a lot of characters, but I definitely find that this is the most necessary because I always have sustain issues with Stamplar. I don't know what it is, it's just I always have issues with it, so I'm definitely using it on this character. Our belt is going to be medium Wretched Vitality and Impen. Our feet are going to be medium Mechanical Acuity and Impen. And then our legs are going to be heavy Wretched Vitality and Reinforced. We want to do Reinforced on all of our heavy pieces like our legs, chest, and head because it gives us the most amount of armor and it's going to really help your resistances. Our jewelry is going to be a necklace of Wretched Vitality in the Swift trait with a spell damage glyph. Our other ring is going to be Wretched Vitality with the spell damage enchantment with the Infused trait. And then we're going to be using Oaken Soul as our mythic. You know, it's a 1-bar build, so Oaken Soul is the way to go. It's going to give you almost every single major buff in the game, and we're going to have that with a spell damage glyph in the Infused trait. And then we're going to be using dual-wield one-handed axes of Mechanical Acuity. This is your axes are going to give you crit damage bonuses, so that's why we're using that, since it is a crit build. So we're going to have our main hand in Nirnhoned, our offhand in Sharpened to increase our damage as much as possible. Nirnhoned is going to increase your weapon and spell damage, and then Sharpened is going to increase your penetration as much as possible. And then on to our champion points. Our champion points are going to look like this. Our blue slottables are going to be Master at Arms, Fighting Finesse, Biting Aura, and Ironclad. Our red slottables are going to be Fortified, Celerity, Boundless Vitality, and Sustained by Suffering. And then our green slottables, not really too important, but still a little important. Rationer, increase that food bonus, especially if you're using our Orzogas. Get as much time of that as you can. Liquid Efficiency, and Gifted Rider. I guess if you want to be a stealth player, you can also use this. Use the Sustaining Shadows one. Then using these little ones as well. And then also, Breakfall is very important as well. Definitely use Breakfall. Alright, and that is it. I really hope you guys enjoyed the build. I really, really, really do. This is one of my favorite ones I've had in a long time. I feel like this is the damage that the build that has the most damage out of any of the one that I've had this patch. I just absolutely love it so much. It's been so fun to just watch people just get shredded by those like Mechanical Acuity proc to jabs. They're just critting all over, and I absolutely love it so much. But guys, I will not talk anymore. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, I might talk a little bit more. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It would really help me out a lot. If you can, please like the video. It's free, just one click. It helps me out with the algorithm so much. But guys, I'm done talking. I really hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.